I was looking at a photo today. Not a photo from the front lines, not a satellite image of the carrier strike group. It was just a photo of a gas station sign in the suburban area of Columbus, Ohio. So the price was nearly $5, and it hit me. We are all watching the same news stories. We are all seeing the flashes over the Persian Gulf, the missiles, the drones, the strategic maneuvers. But the real explosion, it isn't happening over there. It's happening right now at your local fuel pump. It's happening in the mental math you are doing every time you walk into a grocery store and realize that your $50 doesn't even cover the basic necessities anymore. Since the start of Operation Epic Fury back in late February, the average American household has seen its purchasing power. Well, it's basically evaporated. And look at the headlines. They will tell you this is about freedom of navigation. They'll tell you it's about securing the world energy. But I want to talk about the part they are not telling you. I want to talk about why this war, this specific conflict in March 2026, is a direct silent theft of your savings. If you have a 401k, or you are trying to save for a house, or even if you are trying to keep your head above water, you cannot afford to look away from this. Because the war tax isn't a bill you get in the mail. It's a bill you pay every single day you wake up in an economy that has decided your stability is an acceptable casualty of foreign policy. Let's step back for a second. Let's really look at this. Most people, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but most people in the United States could not find the Strait of Hormuz on a map if you paid them. And why should you? You have lives, you have jobs, but here is the terrifying reality of the world we live in. A 21-mile wide strip of water in the Middle East has more control over your life than your own governor does. Think of the global economy as a human body. If that's the case, the Strait of Hormuz is the jugular vein, period. 20% of the world's oil and a huge chunk of its liquefied natural gas, the stuff that heats your home, the stuff that powers the factories, passes through that narrow strip. When that vein is pinched, everything starts to panic. But it's not just the oil. So if you look at the AIS data and commercial traffic, you will see it is down drastically. It's frozen. Insurance rates for those tankers have jumped 600% in a week. 600%. Now imagine you are a business owner. When your insurance disappears, you do not move, you wait. And while the world waits, the experts on cable news talk about market volatility like it's some abstract weather pattern. It isn't volatility. It's just a fancy word for the reason you cannot afford that home improvement projects this summer. It's the reason the interest on your credit card is climbing. We are watching a total freeze of the world artery, and the blood that is stopping. That is the American standard of living. I want to tell you something that has been bothering me, something the Fed won't say out loud. For years, we have been told the Federal Reserve is the firefighter. If things get too expensive, they tweak a number, raise a rate, and the fire goes out. But look at the trap. They have walked into this month. Usually, when a recession starts to look real, and believe me, the numbers from last week look real. The Fed's cuts interest, and they want to let you borrow, spend, and get the engine moving again. But they can't. They are paralyzed. This war sent energy prices so high that inflation is screaming. If they cut rates to save your job, Inflation destroys your savings. If they keep rates high to fight inflation, the economy stalls and you lose your job. It's a stagflation monster that we haven't seen in 50 years. And while they sit in those beautiful air conditioned offices in DC debating basis point, you are the one footing the bill. You are the one paying the interest. You are the one watching your dream of owning a home get pushed back. What, another 5 years? 10? This isn't an accident. This is a policy choice. We have decided as a nation that maintaining a sphere of influence in the Persian Gulf is more important than whether a young couple in Phoenix can afford their first mortgage. Here is something else, something much more emotional than gas prices. We hear about energy independence all the time in the US, but we almost never hear about fertilizer independence. I was talking to a contact in Midwest recently, and he's terrified. Why? Because those same ships that carry oil out of the Gulf carry the raw material for the world's fertilizer. Natural gas is the main ingredient for nitrogen. And because that vein is pinched, fertilizer costs for American farmers have spiked 300%. Think about that. The bread you buy in September, the eggs, the meat, the milk, those prices are being decided today by a missile strike you saw on the news this morning. When you see a recession headline, do not think of a stock market graph. Think of your elderly neighbor on a fixed income who is now choosing between her heart medication and her heating bill. Think of the families who are food insecure in the wealthiest nation on earth. This war isn't about who controls a piece of sand in a desert 5,000 miles away. It is a direct assault on your dinner table. Every time a cruise missile is fired, the price of a gallon of a milk moves an inch higher. It's a one-to-one correlation, and no one in Washington is talking about the food crisis because it doesn't fit the heroic narrative of the war. But you feel it. I know you feel it. We have to be honest. We really do. The era where America could just outproduce its way out of the global chaos, that's over. In the old days, a war in the Middle East meant we just pumped more oil in Texas and waited it out. But this is 2026. The world has changed, finding ways to bypass us. They are trading in their own currencies and they are building their own pipeline. They are still acting like the world's policemen, but we are the policeman who is bankrupting his own family to patrol a neighborhood that doesn't even want us there anymore. The tragedy of this conflict is that it's a 20th century solution to a 21st century problem. We are spending trillions on career groups to fight drones that cost $500. And who pays for the carriers? Who pays for the failed diplomacy? Your children's future is being traded for a sphere of influence that is shrinking every single day. So, where does that leave us? It leaves us in a position where you can no longer afford to trust the official version of reality. You cannot trust the transitory promises. You have to become your own analyst. You have to recognize that this war, inflation, shock is a permanent shift in what it costs to be an American. It's time to stop waiting for a hero in Washington to fix this. It's time to look at your own finances, your own community, your own resilience. We need to start asking, is this worth it? Is the Strait of Hormuz more important than the main streets of our own country? They want you to be distracted by the explosions on the screen. I want you to be focused on the numbers in your bank account because the war isn't over there. The war is right here in your wallet. in your home and in your future. A small knowing information is only weapon we have left. When you understand why your savings are at risk, you can begin to protect them. You can move your money, you can change how you consume, and you can demand better from the people who claim to lead us. I am going to keep tracking this. I'll be watching the AIS ship data every morning to tell you what's really happening in the street before it hits your wallet. So, subscribe, stay with me, and let's look at the world for what it actually is, not what they want us to see. I'm Dr. Adeel, and you're watching In Focus with Dr. Adeel. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.